Hello and welcome to the first video for using old OpenGL code. I might have to stop and reboot the computer. I'm having serious issues right now with it just not wanting to cooperate. I don't know why. Pardon my voice, I have a cold or something that I am currently fighting. Okay, so I am working through, not right now, but later, the book OpenGL Game Programming by Kevin Hawkins and Dave Astle. This is probably the first edition. And I want you to see something. You can see that it works. Got the code to compile and run. And I'm going to show you how to set up your editor so that your IDE so that you can do the same if you're using these old books. This is kind of a natural continuation of my using old DirectX code tutorial series. The same principles apply and the same focus is in place. C++, operating system, Windows XP, SP3, June 2010, DirectX, and that's for the redistributable, or the runtime rather, and the SDK, with December 2006 files copied over that were missing, direct draw files. And OpenGL has a similar thing. It has depreciated a number of stuff that these older programs work and run, which is kind of strange considering that everybody says OpenGL hardly changes, but it's actually worse in some ways than DirectX because a lot of the old commands don't work now. Because you don't get the files, you can't download them anywhere, there's no comprehensive OpenGL package really out there. So what I did is I did some searching and I found this and I downloaded and extract it, and then I found this and download and extract it because you need the glocks and all that stuff. Here's the support site for the book. And so it's showing this one right now, and if I were to go home to the home page, should be around here somewhere. I know I don't need to go there, I only need to go here. You'll see that all the books are there, and the one that we're working on right now is right here. And you go to errata, go to source code, and it's right there. And we're looking at the chapter 1 source code. We're using the latest build of the unofficial OpenGL SDK. We've extracted it and changed the name to OpenGL SDK, and we've taken all of the .h files and put them in an include directory, and all the lib files and put them in a lib directory. And then this DLL is what we got from that other package here. And you're going to want to make sure in your Windows System 32 that you have all this stuff. You're probably missing GLUT32. Once you have all that together, you should be ready to run, but we've got to set the paths. Now there's a reason why I did it this way. It's because you have to set the paths just like DirectX. So now it probably won't load. Had problems last time trying to get this to load. As soon as I stopped the recording, it loaded fine, but while I was trying to record, it wouldn't load. And same process as before. I'm going to stop here in a second, but I've taken the source code and tried to use it as is, and I've only had to make a few minor alterations to get it to work. Hold on a second. So if you go in here in your global settings, now you can set this per project by just right-clicking on your project name and then going to the build properties. I've just done it globally because I don't like headaches. So under linker, OpenGL isn't picky like DirectX. I haven't tested DirectX either to see if it really has to be at the top. But I had this at the top and it ran. I had it down here and it runs. But here's those old files that came from this other thing over here, this one. And they're in my lib directory, my altered directory that I created. And then over here in search directory, I have added my include, my library, and my include. If you don't do it the way I did and put everything in one folder, you're going to have like half a dozen different include areas. you'll have to go to include and GL and a bunch of other crap, and you'll have a huge long list of stuff by the time you're done. I'm too sick and tired to deal with that, so I just put it on one thing so I have it all accessed right where I need it. And that's all you have to do to set it up, and then it's all ready to go. Then you need to add some files. Ignore the notes CPP, that's just to myself so that I remember what all I've done here. I don't want to forget anything. I'll open it up so that I remember. So what we've got to do here is we start up a new project, and it's an OpenGL project. We delete the main CPP it gives us. So that's how you start CodeBlocks. You start a new project and you do an OpenGL project, not a GLUT or GLFW. You just do OpenGL, and then you delete main, and then you go to File and you add a new file, and you'll add a source file called chapter1 CPP, and you're gonna need to, well, I'm not going to go through that. I already showed you how to do this, and you should be reading your manual by now. So you'll do a new CPP source file called chapter1. You'll do a new header file you'll call high-res timer H. And what you're going to do is you're going to find wherever you have your stuff at. Give me a little bit. It's acting really sluggish today, I don't know why. So for me it's under OpenGL, and I got beginning, and I got OpenGL chapter 1. I just take this, open it in Notepad, edit copy, and then I paste it into my new file over here, my new C++ source file that I just created. And in my case was chapter1 CPP, and then I do the same thing. I copy the contents of this by opening it in Notepad, just basic Notepad. You don't want anything that will format it or put anything on it. Edit, copy, select it all, edit, copy, and then you add a new header file from the same thing I just showed you, and you edit, paste it into your header file, which is okay, it's already right here. And then this last thing, this OpenGL bitmap, you're going to want to probably copy it over into your project directory. And that's what I did. And then just go to File, and I think it's Add File in this case. So Add File, and now you can browse to that and add it, and then it puts it in there to give you the graphic. Otherwise you'll have some warning errors. And that's how you set up the project. You want to save after each thing, just in case it decides to crash on you. You don't want to build yet because you're going to have errors. If you go over to chapter 1, pardon me, these will probably have a GL slash in it. Just remove the slash in the GL. And then this will have a .h. Just remove that. And then this is missing. I don't know why they did not put this file in their code, but I put it in there, and then that'll allow it to work. And then you should be able to build it after you save it, of course. Build it, and then it should be able to run. I think I pressed save. Trying to think if there's anything else I need to tell you. I'm not going to be working through this book right yet. I'm going to work through both of Andrea Lamoth's books, so Windows Game Programming Gurus and then 3D Game Programming Gurus. And I'm going to come back to this later. So this is kind of like a prequel to what I'm going to be doing later. You're going to find information for going through this book and getting each of the projects in this book to work. But I'm not working on that right now. I think I covered everything. The only other thing that I could mention is you don't have to... Did I show you where to set the stuff? Yeah, I did. You don't have to go in here and go to Build Options. I'm going to stop. I'll be right back. Okay, if you didn't want to do it globally and you wanted everything set per project, which is something similar to how Microsoft Visual Studio works, I think what you have to do is you have to add the library files in here and then add your directories here. And I can't guarantee this will work doing it this way. I tried having this with that, but I haven't tried just having this by itself. But this should work per project. I just set it globally to make it easier on myself. And remember that you got it on debug now, so if you want to take something, you could copy it to release. You can only copy one item at a time. This might be a little confusing because I'm going to have this video called, I'm going to entitle it Using Old OpenGL Code or Source Code. I'm going to follow the DirectX tutorial format line. It's going to be a number after the last DirectX video. But because this is a natural continuation of that sort of series of getting old source code to work, but in the next video it should be either working on Visual Studio, getting this code to run, or it'll be back to the focus, which is Windows Game Programming Gurus. But this should give you the information you need if you're using an old OpenGL book. How do you get the code to run? Some of the code's depreciated, and now you can do it. But because the code has been depreciated, this tutorial part of it, this part of the series, I'll have to do it in 2 parts. When I have enough knowledge and ability, I'm going to have to go through and figure out how to replace all of these includes, all of their commands, everything that's in here in OpenGL that's been depreciated. I have to figure out how to replace it with its current build of OpenGL equivalent. I have no idea what that is or how to do that right now, and that's why I say OpenGL is worse than DirectX, because you don't necessarily have to do that with DirectX. At least from what I can tell so far, it's just you add some direct draw stuff because that was taken out and it's handled by Direct3D now. But there's no reason why, I mean, you don't have to run direct draw through Direct3D, and there's nothing wrong with using direct draw as far as I can tell. But when you're using old depreciated OpenGL code and there's more modern equivalents, you don't want to be learning the old OpenGL code that's depreciated when you need to be learning the modern stuff. I guess I could apply a little bit to the direct draw, thing with DirectX. I don't know. Just be aware of that this would have to be a 2-part series. Maybe I'd have to do that for the DirectX as well. Just do an updated, how you update the code for a current build of DirectX. Right now, that's way in the future. Just getting through the books and through the next couple of projects. I can report that I've been able to compile the next two or three code examples given in Windows Game Programming Gurus with no problem. And this takes care of the first programming project in the OpenGL Game Programming, but I haven't tried any further than that. So I'll see you in the next lesson, and I hope this video has been of use.